All right, I'm continuing on part 2 of this here KU L&B change out. I'm gonna hook up 8 of these Usenet dishes, and I'm starting to work on my trench. Okay, since I don't have nothing to dig a trench with, well, the next best thing I do, I use an auger. It's the easiest way to dig through a hard ground, especially clay. Just use an auger. So all I got to do now is take my hole diggers and get all the loose dirt out, and I got me a trench. I'm gonna go a little bit further down here. Then I'm just gonna take me a shovel and I'm gonna go straight down here across this deck. And I'm gonna come right through here on the other side. And I'm gonna put me a 45 here and use these here. And go me a 45, put me a 90 and come right up through the floor here. And on these here, these are 1.5 inches. I'm gonna run 14 RG6 quad through there. The plan is, I'm gonna run 4 right here on this here for a future 12-footer. That's why I got it way up high. I got a 12-footer out in that wood. In them woods, you probably can see it from here. Way over there in them woods, leaning against the tree. I think you can see a little bit of it. And that's going here. I got to do a total rebuild on it. It's a 12-footer. The plan is to run 4 wires up here. I'm gonna run, I got another dish here, and I'm gonna put one over here, and I'm gonna put one over here. That's gonna be 2 for KU, and I'm gonna run 2 up here. And since I got a 12-footer, I'm gonna try to do me a single feed horn and double L&Bs. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna see if I can get 2 scalar rings together and put 2 L&Bs on there. So I have 2 C-band L&Bs and 2 KU for that. Off that, so I'm gonna run 4 wires here. Then I'm gonna run my 8 back this way for these. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. I'm gonna run my wires. I'm gonna clean my holes out now with my hole diggers. All I gotta do is shovel everything out. And I'm gonna go ahead and run my wires through my pipe. Put me a T there, run 4 up there. And I'll have me a box here, junction box, where I'll have all my wires running. I'll split everything out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my wires first, get that out of the way. Then the next step is I'm gonna go ahead and pull all these arms, and I'm gonna label each arm with the dish. For example, this one here, I'll say dish number 3 or 4. I'll number this 4 and that 4, and I'll keep everything lined up separate. And I will, because sometimes there's a little bit of play on these and they don't line up just right. So when I take these off, I'll get me one to guide by, one that I already made up over here, and I'll make all these up. Then I'll put all these back down on there. That'll be my second part of this install. So the first part is getting that wire buried. The second part is getting these L&Bs changed out. And the third part will be getting my switches and lining my satellites up and hooking all my switches up, because I'm gonna run all this stuff through switches. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean all that out, and I'll go ahead and run my wire and my pipe through there and go ahead and get all that done. Okay, I'm continuing on this video. I got 12 wires out here. I got them all run. I got my trench dug. Those 4 short wires will go to this pole here, and these longer ones will go out here. Got them all marked. I got a piece of tape on there, got 1 through 8. On the other end, I got 1 through 8. And on these shorter ones, I got 9 through 12. And on the other end, on the short ones, I got 9 through 12. That way I don't lose track. So when I hook my switches up, I know what to hook to what. But that's gonna be way on later on down the line once I do my final preparations after I get all these things lined up. Now the next thing I need to do, what I went on ahead and did, I went ahead and put a pole in there and buried it because it's fixing to rain and I don't want all this mud everywhere. So I went ahead and buried it, and I got my pole run all the way to the house. So all I got to do is feed all these wires through this pipe. And I'm gonna come out here, put me a 45 right there, come back this way, put me an elbow, a 90, and come right up to the floor. Then I'll have that. After I get that done, I'm gonna put me a T right here. Once I get all these fed in, I'm gonna split these 4 out through the T, come back this way, and reduce it down to 1 inch, come up here, and I'm gonna run right up to the pole, have these 4 dangling right here rolled up for future use. Then I'm gonna run my 8 on out here to there. Then after I run my 8, later on down the line, after I get everything lined up, I'm gonna put me some grounding blocks and put me a box out here and tie everything together in here. Then I'm gonna run my switches in the house. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on that now, go ahead and feed these wires into that pipe and go ahead and get this stuff buried before it rains. What I did, I went ahead and pulled them all back. That way I can get them all pulled to the front of this pipe so I can go ahead and feed them in this pipe. All right, I got everything wrapped up, ready to feed it through the pipe here. And once I get it all fed through the pipe, then I'm gonna take me about another 5 feet. I can feed it up through the floor. Then I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up from back this way. Then I'm gonna go ahead to the other steps. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this wire run through here, this pipe here. All right, feeding it through the pipe. See? Pull it a little bit, keep it straight, goes right through the pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, and I'm gonna continue on that way. Okay, that's about it. Those 4 go to this one, your mate go to that one. I think I'll run a little too much, and I'll show you why. Well, maybe not. Once I pull that on through, that excess should have enough to cover all that slack there, so I should be pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this on through, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up, and I'm gonna run this through the floor, finish this part up. Then I'm gonna go ahead and pull them arms off and modify them arms on them dishes. That's gonna be next. Talk to you later. I couldn't be no more perfect. Look at that. I got 3 of them right, but what happened here, I run out of the box. The box run empty. But other than that, everything's fine. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna push it back maybe about a foot back this way. I should be fine. On this end here, I got plenty. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go up here, and right here have my switch box here, so I got plenty. So I'm gonna probably pull about 1.5 foot back, so I can cover that little bit that's off the end there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back about 1 foot, and that way I can go ahead and on this one here, shoot, I might just, since this thing's gonna be way up in the air, it's gonna bottom out right along here. So I might take that thing right there, put a dish right there on the bottom right there, and just don't even put a ground on it. Well, I might ground it. I'm gonna ground all this right here. These 4 I'm gonna ground right here. The mate I'm gonna ground over there. So I don't know what I was thinking saying that, but I'm gonna pull about 1.5 foot back. Should have plenty. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish running this before it rains, get it all buried, good to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and go on to my next step and pull them arms and redo them L&Bs. So that's it for now. Got one more thing. I went ahead and pulled it back. I got plenty, so I can run it through the pipe and run it up the pole. And right here, I got enough so I can run it in through, and I'm gonna go ahead and put grounding blocks on all these anyway, so I got plenty here. So I done pulled about 1.5 feet back. So I'm good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and run my 4 and tee it off and finish it up there. And I got plenty here. Put me a 45 on there. Kind of run it back this way. Run it up through the floor. I got plenty. I have my switch about along here mounted inside. So I'm good to go. I'm gonna talk to you later now. Another thing. I'm gonna have to put an extension on here, so I'm gonna put my T on by right along here, so I'm gonna have to add a piece on to it. I gotta put a coupling. So what's so weird about this, when you put these extensions on there, you can't just stick it on there. You gotta go all the way down and feed it all the way through the line, then glue it. Then I'm gonna cut me a piece off and get it maybe about a 6-inch more there and put my T right there. And same thing, run it all through the line and run that up here and run the others that way. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. Hey, when I run it through like this, don't forget I gotta run it through this too. Then I'm gonna go ahead and glue it. And I'll go ahead and continue on do it, keep right on doing. All right, that's it. All right. Very slow but tedious. I got the 4 fed up through here, so I'm gonna put a 1-inch and run it up here and cake it and tie it off. I can hear rain in the background somewhere. Then I'm gonna go ahead and run that and I'm through for the day. All righty, quick video here. Well, actually this is a little bit of part of my video. I've been working on this here, digging this trench. Got it all set up. Got it running right up to the house. You can hear it playing in there. It's on InfoWars. But that's on a different setup though. I mean, that's on this here. I just set that up for InfoWars. I had to tweak it. But like I say, I got this pipe all buried, running. Got my yard nice and neat mowed here. Got my trench running. Buried, nice and neat. Got me 4 wires running up here. So I'm going to set my 12-footer once I get it rebuilt. 2 or 3 of these I hadn't made my mind up was going to run up here. I'm going to either run a CKU up here, or 2 Cs and a KU, or might just run 2 dual Cs. I hadn't figured it out because it's going to be a 12-footer on here. Then I might take these other 2 and jump them off, hook them 2 dishes up, have one here and have one over here to the other 2 wires. Then I got my other wires here, buried here, ready to go. Got 8 wire, got 8 dishes here. Next thing, need to set these up for KU. So what I need to do, I got this pin right here. I'm gonna mark every one of these dishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna mark these L&B arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The reason is because these things are so sensitive. They're a little bit different. Because I'm gonna take these off here and take them in the house and work on them. I'm gonna work on them things in the house where it's nice and cool. I'm gonna set them, get them all looking like this. So I'm gonna, like I say, I got my stuff here. Got 2 studs here, a couple nuts on each side. Right up under here, and got me a clamp here. I'm gonna set them all up like this. Same dish, all the same dishes. So it's everything should be fine, but I'm gonna still mark them anyway. Because sometimes there's just a little bit off on these. Sometimes they line up a little bit different. But I'm gonna set them all up. And the next step, what I'm gonna do, like I say, I'm gonna take them arms off, take them all in the house, and I'm gonna go in the house and modify them in the house where it's nice and cool where the AC is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on that, and I'm gonna get them all modified. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye. Alrighty, I'm in the process of taking them all loose. See? Take all the arms off. Then that way I can take them in the house. I can be out in the weather. I can be nice in the house where it's nice and cool when I modify these things. So what I'm doing, I'm just loosening them all up. Then all I got to do is come right here and collect them And I always, when I pull these arms off, I put all this assembly back the way it was. That way it all don't get lost. That's why I'm doing it like I'm doing it. Then when I go and get them all modified, which I'll do in the house, I'll show you how I do it when I get in the house. And once I get them all made up, I'll reinstall them. Then I'll start down here, searching for my satellite, all the way down to the end. Then I'll hook my switches up. Once I get everything set up, then I'll watch TV. Okay, I got all the arms off, I got them marked. I put all my bolt assembly back in there. That way it don't get lost. Now I'm ready to remove that. I'm ready to move that big old thing right there and get it off, throw it in the garbage. I'll take that horn off of it. I'll keep that and use it for something else. This piece right here. Okay, I think I can take this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off here and to mount it on one of them KU LMBs on this here and see if I can get a signal. So if it'll line up. I don't know if they will. That's something I can try. And put it on one of these small dishes. See if it'll work. It might, it may not. But there you go. I got my arms off. Now all I gotta do now, gather them together, go in the house, modify and put them back on the dishes. Okay. What I did, I removed all them others, and I removed this one here, and this is here, I made this as a guide. I'm gonna pull this one off here, use this as a guide so I can make up my other arms. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do now. I'm gonna go ahead and make my arms up, but I'm gonna do that inside the house in the covering of some AC, so I have to be outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and make these arms up now, make up about 8 of them. There's a picture of my nice little Tele-V antenna I just installed not too long ago. I'm at Lowe's picking up some stuff for satellite modification. These things will work. These are a little bit smaller, but I got some bigger ones at the house. They don't have them here because they're out. They'd be right that little hole right there. They out. They had the green paint on them, but that's what I use to modify these things. So I got that. Get these at Lowe's. They're about $2 a piece. All right, some of these 1-inch clamps, they have them at Lowe's. That's what you put 2 together, one facing the other, and you put your L and B through there. So these 1-inch clamps will work great. All right, some of this RG6 quad right there. About $74 a box at Lowe's. I get that. I use that too. The dual will work, but I prefer the quad. Works great. All right, I'm gonna get some of these to hold my L and B up, attach my L and B, run my bolts through. So I'm gonna get about 20 of these. This is what I'm gonna get right here. These right here. That'll hold my L and B together. And a good hacksaw to cut your bolts with. Or you can use a good demolition saw. Get you a blade, demolition saw, but I prefer using a hacksaw because that thing vibrates too much, so I'd rather just use a hacksaw to cut them bolts with. And last but not least, if you use the quad shield, you need to use some of these quad connectors. Quad connectors right here. That's for your quad right there. Very simple to go on. Now the quad and the dual is different. Make sure you get the right connector for the cable. And what the heck, try to debate it. I'll go ahead and grab me another box of this quad. It's all disappearing. I better get it while I can. That's the last box. They can't keep this stuff in the stock. So I got all my stuff. I got me some bolts. I got me some clamps. And I got the other stuff at the house. I got some fittings and all kind of stuff. So I'm ready to put all this stuff together now. Okay, continuing on this satellite stuff. I'm modifying this. So I got these holes already drilled through these here. Yep. Got all them done. This is number 9, so I got 9 here. Let's see what I do. Got my holes drilled through these here. Got all my assembly done. What I did is just widen these holes out. I drew me a circle around, that way line up like this with these. You get the idea. Then wherever I got the circle, I just made the holes bigger so I can get these through there. And same here. And what I do is on each one of these, I just go right here, center it here, right here, line it up right there. Take me a marker, one of these here, and just put me a circle here and put me a circle here, and just drill them out. I got all them done. Alrighty, back on this here. I got my LMBs there. Got 8 of them. I think I got 9. Make up 9 of these. I got my bolts all screwed in. Everything laid out, ready to be put together. Put all these arms together. Got my guide right there, what I use the guide by. Put everything together, everything cut out. Put everything together. Put everything back on the dish. On all the dishes. Okay, I got that one part on there. I'm gonna go ahead and do all these here small ones at one time. Put all them on at one time, then I'm gonna come back and do the big ones. Then I'm gonna come back on the third part and do the clamp and the LMB. Okay, I'm continuing this. I had to move to another room with this. I got all these on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this long piece on here now, right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount those on, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my LMBs and go ahead and mount them as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on with this, go ahead and finish this up. Okay, got them all done here. Got the mounting hardware on there. All I got to do now is put the LMBs on there, right here, and put my assembly right there, put my bolts through there, just like I got right there. Do all them the same way. Then I'm ready to take it outside and hook all this stuff up. Okay, continuing on this video here. So I got one made up. Basically what I do, I try to make all these up. First thing I do, I line it up, make sure it's just lined up just like that. Then I'll take these screws off here, top off here. Then I'll get my assembly and put on there. Okay, what I go ahead and do, I bring these screws up here so they match up along the same lines as those as on this previous one I just made up. Then I'll go ahead and get my clamp right here. Take my clamp, pull my gap, pull them open a little bit, take my clamps, put one here. I do it off camera here. Get it just like that. Lined up just perfect, just like on the other one. Take my LMB, grab my LMB, just like this, turn this down, just like so. Stick it in the center here. About right along there. Put my top clamp on it and start clamping it down. Okay, I got it on. What I did is set this on the top of this. Did it off camera. Kind of pull this out and pull them apart a little bit. Put my clamp in, push my clamp down. As I push my clamp down, run my bolts down. And what I'm gonna do off camera, I'm gonna tighten them up, push it in a little bit more. A little bit, and put my wrench on there and start tightening them down. And as long as they all line up, they're good. Okay, got that one all clamped down. Looks pretty good. Don't want to get it too tight. They all look pretty good. They're all good lined up. Don't want to get them too tight, because sometimes when you go out there and line your dish up, Sometimes you have to adjust your skew. Sometimes you might have to kind of turn it back this way a little bit or turn it back the other way a little bit, either this way or that way. So I kind of leave this loose. That way you can use this for adjustments. You can loosen this up and you can kind of adjust this back and forth depending on how you do your signal once you line it up. But you'll see when I get it out there. So I'm going to go ahead and make them all up. I got 3 of them made up. This is my guide, the one I use on my, that's just my guide. That's what I go by. Line them all up the same way. Get all them lined up, and I'm going to take them all out to the dish. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these done. Okay, I'm going to make one of these up real quick on camera. Show you how quick and fast this is. It's not hard at all. All you got to do is just go by the first one here and just line them up, do them all the same way. First thing I'm going to do, pull these nuts off here. Pull the nuts off. Leave the bottom washer and all. Take this here, line it up, make sure it's all lined up with the other one. Take my clamp. I'm gonna kind of spread these out. Take my clamp. Right center, just drop it just like that. Get my L&B out of the box. Very simple. Turn this down. Okay. Grab my other clamp. If all goes well, sometimes it binds. Kind of just work it. Try to do it even. You need to try to do it as even as you can. That way it drop. Yeah, see how it drops? About right there. Don't go all the way down. You're gonna get your L&B on there. Go ahead and put my nuts in, bolts, washers, nuts. Screw them down. Don't go all the way down because I need to get my slide my L&B in there. Okay. Take my L&B. Kind of maneuver it in here like so. Kind of line it up. Looks pretty good. Push this down. Run my nuts down. All the way. Looks pretty good. It's already on there, see? Kind of take my, hold that right there. I got me a ratchet type, makes it a lot simpler. Sometimes it's going to jump up as you do it, and you can kind of ratchet in there. Once you get it up in there, I'll do it right there first. And I can just kind of just take it on down, and it'll drop. It's dropping. Do a little bit on this side here. Don't over tighten it. Kind of make a gap about like this one is here on this other one. This one's going, sometimes they'll be kind of a little aggravating. This is doing pretty good. Don't over tighten it. That's it. Okay, make sure your center, right center here. Right there, kind of line it up. Make sure these are lined up with these others, just perfect. That's pretty much it. Sometimes we want to get it all set up. I'm gonna make up my RG6 cables next and take it out there and hook it all up. But sometimes when you get it on there and get a good lock, you might want to loosen this back up to adjust your skew and in and out a little bit. But this is pretty much it. You kind of, if you got everything lined up right, If you get your finger in there, that's just fine right there. But like I say, you might want to adjust your skew a little bit once you get it on the dish and find your signal. That's pretty much it on that. I'm going to finish them all up and put them on the dish. Very simple. This is the way I do it. Everybody else has their own way of doing it. But this to me is the best way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish them up and take them on out to the dish. Or dishes, rather. Okay, I'm back on this, finally. It's been about a month since I've been able to do any of this because of the rain and the hot weather. So as you can see, I got all the arms back on. I got 2 more arms to put back on. There's 2 down there. I've got all these lined up already. So what I did, went in and put the arms back on, and I went ahead and put me a meter on them. And I got these lined up. This is 87 West, this is dish 1, 105 West, dish 2, 99 West, dish 3, dish 4 is 101 West, dish 5 is 97 West, and I have yet to do that. This will probably be on 117 West, and this one here will probably be on rooters, and this will probably be on 103 West. So all I got to do now is finish this up. I'm going to go ahead and make a part 3. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out here. Part 3 will be, basically, it's took about 3 weeks to do this. These are pretty much lined up. So part 3 will probably be, I'm going to go ahead and finish this out here. And what I'll do is I'll bring my Sat Hero out here. And I'll go from this end all the way from here all the way to that. And I'll do a rescan to make sure everything lines up right. That'll be in my part 3. And reason I put this over this is keep the water out, because we've been getting a lot of rain. So sometimes these Ziploc bags work pretty good. You just get a gallon one and set it over here and push it in right there. Put you some tape over there and then keep the water out. Does pretty good. So that's a little tip to keep the water out, because this is kind of a long process. All this rain and the hot weather. It's been over 100 degrees out here. It's cooled off now, but I got to go to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up on part 3. So on part 3, I'm gonna run my wires and I'm gonna tie everything into my block and run everything in these wires up here. Run my block, put me a box here, splice everything in. I got 8 wires here. I got 4 coming off that pole there for the future. And I got go ahead, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Everything will be running through a switch. I'll have 8-way switch on these here. And because I got an 8-way switch on these over here already. And by the time I get everything up and going, I'll probably have about 20 of these things, which I probably don't need. But the plan is to do updates. Once I get all these things lined up, I'm gonna start doing updates, doing wild feed updates in the future. Just something to do. It's a hobby. But like I said, I'm gonna go and close this out and finish this up in part 3. And I'm gonna bring my Sat Hero out here and realign all these up. I'm pretty sure they're already lined up already. I'm just gonna go back through them again and do a scan. And I'm gonna set these up as well. So I'm gonna go and cut this off right here. And I will continue on part 3. And I'll have it up probably in the next couple of weeks or week or so. I'll talk to you later. Bye.